So what do we know? What do I know at least? What do I personally know? Planet Day. But even though not, allegedly, 4 billion, 7 million, so what do I know? Not much. I know what they're telling me, and they're telling us, or telling me, that our planet is 4,600,000,000,2023 years old. But what do I know? When you look around yourself, look around you, what do you see? So jump, come back down. We call it gravity. Can't argue with that. They say it's what, 9.8 meters per second? That doesn't mean anything at all, really. Because they invented the meter. They invented the meter per second, that speed, didn't they? So, what does that even mean? An object falls at terminal velocity with the friction of the atmosphere at 9.8 meters per second. That's what that means. The less resistance, the faster something falls. That's why a feather and a bowling ball fall at the same speed, because there's no resistance. So the bowling ball and the feather is just mass falling, gravity, they fall at the same speed. So we know gravity. We know about the sun. It's only called sun because they call it a sun. It's only called a sun because they invented the letters A, B, C, D to communicate. It's an education thing. It's called evolution. So I know about the sun. How do I know about the sun? Because it comes up in the morning and goes down at night time. We call it morning and we call it night time. In Spanish it's called por la mañana y de noche. And in other languages it's called different things. But the fact is, we've got sunrise and sunset. The seconds, milliseconds, hours, minutes, months, all of that stuff is purely human made. It would have started with night and day. Night, day. You can't see in the dark. Some of us can't see in the dark. So the day was split into sections. And it ended up as 12 sections back in whenever day. And then those sections were turned into hours, then broken down into seconds, and then you've got the quantum world where only a few people understand how they can keep that world. So I know there's gravity, and I know the sun comes up and the sun goes down. I know we've got a moon, and that would tie in with the gravity thing, wouldn't it? Because Earth's gravity pulls the moon towards it, but because the moon is travelling that way, it's constantly free falling towards Earth, but it's moving at the same time. So it's free falling. An orbit is basically free falling. And we know up there is a vacuum. There is no resistance, no molecules, no particles, no matter, nothing. That's what we know. So we've got gravity, we've got the sun, we've got night, and we've got day. What else do I know? What else do I really know? They're telling us that it's 4.6 billion years old. They're telling us that the universe was 13.8, but now that's been revised to something like 27 million. So where did it all come from? Where did we come from? Where did we come from? So things that we know, let's keep that written up there in case we get lost. So we've got gravity. Invisible force that pulls us down. And we've got the sun, which gave us day and night. Right? Up and then down. That's it. That's it. That's where everybody's common knowledge ends. That is common sense. We call it gravity, that there's a force pulling us down. We can see the sun up and down, and we know we've got a moon, which ties in with the gravity thing. Why do I not have any white chalk? It's always the white powder that goes first. And then we have the moon. Right? Orbits the Earth. So that ties in with gravity. Tides, gravity. But where did it all begin? We're told 4.6 billion. The planet is 4.6 billion years old, and we've got the Big Bang. Big Bang states first of all, the Big Bang came from a priest in 1931. Therefore, it's theory, but not really interested in anybody else's theory, to tell you the truth. But the fact is, it doesn't tie in with science. The Big Bang does not tie in with science. They've made science tie in with the Big Bang, right? So if our science says this, right, that means that this, at this speed, we'd be how old? No, that's not science. I look up at the sky, see the sun, see the moon. You understand gravity, you know the moon is tidally locked to planet Earth, so it's been there for a long time. Then they've got the telescopes, this and that and the other, so they think there was a Big Bang. There's a lot of fire, there's a lot of violence, but it is purely a theory. I understand, I personally understand that this is always going to remain as a question mark. All right? We will never, ever find out how it started, where it started, when it started, or who started it. And that's another one. That's the other side. The other side. Somebody smashed it all together in 4.6 days. Okay. No, sorry, that's a big lie. In 6 days, gave us today off, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing today. Where would he have come from? Oh, so there was a virgin mother. Great. Where did she come from? And where did, if there is a logical answer to where did she come from, where did that logical answer? At some time, right, no matter how we look at it, and that is it. That's as far as you can go. Was there nothing? Was there something? When you're smart enough to understand that this, the where, when, how, who, what, if, etc., it is always going to remain a question. Understanding this allows you to concentrate on other things, like what we know ourselves. They're telling us that they're going out shooting rockets, this, that, and the other. That God came and we worship him because, but there's no evidence. And where did they come from to start with? It's all irrelevant. Then we've got the stars, space travel, what's out there. All right, claims. Claims of the speed of light. And this is a massive one. And I'm saying massive because they're saying that our sun, with a diameter of 1,390,000 kilometers, right? With the speed of light that they're telling us, right? We have to do this again because it's very important, because this is about what do we know and what don't we know. First of all, in 1676, it is claimed that the speed of light was worked out by somebody called Old Romer using nothing but a telescope, Jupiter and its moon Io. Now, it can't be done, okay? It can't be done. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous in a lot of ways. Ridiculous in the fact that what was some guy doing trying to discover the speed of light in 1676 had no reason whatsoever to suddenly one day go, I wonder how fast it's, oh my. Forget the speed of light. But that calculation, with the estimates of the sun being 1,390,000 kilometers, right? They've given us 299,792. If we divide that by that, the kilometers, the diameter of the sun, by the seconds, the kilometers per second, we get the number 4.6. This now means that the speed of light takes 4.6 seconds to travel the distance of the sun's diameter, right, which is 1,390,000. Stopwatch is at the ready. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 3.6. That's not bad. Right? That is what they are telling us is the speed of light. It's absolute rubbish, because the sun does not radiate light. It does not take 4.6 seconds for the sun to radiate light the distance of its diameter. It's insanity is what that is. I don't think people are looking at this the right way. It's rubbish. Now, having sat down with this in my head over and over and over and over, right? All of the angles, from their angles, who discovered it, when, how it was discovered, what's in the sky, the heat, everything. All of this together, and unfortunately, not unfortunately, I'm thinking for myself, when I listen to these people that are telling us the planet, the universe was made in 6 days, or did it all started from something the size of a pea? The light from the sun is absolute, right? It can't be measured. You cannot measure the speed from the sun. It's logical. It's the sun. It's light, it's day. It's dark, it's light. It's either here or it's not. There isn't an 8-minute, 20-second travel period between it getting here and when it left the sun. It's ridiculous. So therefore, for me, all we know is there's gravity, there's sun, comes up and down, we've got a moon, and the speed of light is absolute. And that is just purely common sense, because if you see a light bulb, and you picture this being the sun, and you can knock this down ratio to ratio, all the way down till you get a sun this size, and you're looking at it. And you put this in a living room, and you light it, it is not 4.6 seconds, 4.6 seconds for its diameter. It lights the room up instantly. The end. That is how easy this is to work out. And it is that simple. So the speed of light is wrong. You can't trust anything they've said about where we come from. We've got planets with the naked eye. We can see Mercury, Venus. Where next? We can't see ourselves, but we can. We've got Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, the one with the rings. We can see these planets with the naked eye. All right, you just see Saturn with the naked eye if you know where to look for it. Anything else than that, you're going to need a telescope to see Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And Pluto, you know what? It is a planet. You don't make something a planet and then revoke its license. There is a reason behind them revoking a license off of Pluto, and Pluto doesn't care. Anybody who knows does not care what they say. What gave them the right to even name it in the first place? It was there way before them. It should be naming them, not them naming it. So knowing that we can only see up to Saturn with the naked eye makes you then understand that those other planets need to be seen with a telescope. Now, anybody can go and buy a telescope. Anyone can go out and buy a telescope. But where will you be able to see? How far? You can see distant universes and bright colours and all of this stuff, right? But anything outside of here what made the rings too big, eh? Uranus. Neptune. And finally Pluto. Anything after this one here is a mystery. anything outside of this is a mystery. Those who have telescopes, could afford telescopes, could buy telescopes, could look through telescopes, could see beyond. But the further away you get, the less clear it becomes, because light gets smaller with distance. It doesn't mean time has passed, it gets smaller with distance. If you have a guy shining a spotlight in your face from 20 meters and you have a guy with this shining in your face from 20 meters, as they walk away, this disappears first. It's not because as much as it's less powerful, it's the size, but yeah, power, brightness, yeah, right? But it doesn't mean time's passed as they're walking away. I can still see them walking away. It's still happening now live. There isn't an 8 minute and 20 seconds delay if they get to the sun, the distance of the sun, the guy with a spotlight, I can still see him live. That is why the speed of light is absolute. So anything that goes on outside of this, Saturn, is a mystery. Not for those with telescopes, they can see a little bit further, but still it gets to the stage where there is a cut-off line. That cut-off line could be the line where science turns into magic. I've got no reason to believe a word that they say, not anymore, because we've worked the speed of light out. They're using those stars and that speed of light, 299,792 kilometers per second, and they're using that as a template, right, as a measuring stick, a yardstick, to measure the light from the stars, which is giving them the age of our universe. Now listen, if some guy in 1676 really worked out the speed of light using a telescope and he came up with this close to 299,792 kilometers per second, it's way off. And I've been living my life hearing that the universe is the age it is, right, because of the light that's coming off of the sun. It's wrong. So straight away, I know for a fact that when they look at those stars and say, hey, that's 8 billion light years away, years, no, not having it. It could be a long way away, millions, billions of kilometers, but don't start playing with this years and years and years ago, right? Because it doesn't really add up when you understand that light is absolute. If you can see it in the sky, you'll see it live now as it is, right? It's not this massive long delay. How can there be? We see light live. It's absolute. It's dark or it's light. Those things have not been up there for billions of, well, they might have been up there for billions of years, but you will not work that out from the time it takes light to travel that distance at 299,792 kilometers per second. If it's absolute, it means that any light that we can see coming from stars anywhere in the sky is live now. That is what absolute means. So this is a big deal. Do I believe they're 299,000? No, I don't. Because of the way it's been worked out, the things that it's been used for, where science has become magic, and the fact that it's the sun. Light is absolute. We've worked it out. It does not take any globe, any circle, any sphere on this planet 4.6 seconds to radiate heat and light the distance of its diameter. It just does not. And that is all this is here. It's a sphere. It's a sphere that's taken 4.6 seconds to radiate light the distance of its diameter. And that does not happen. Not even a candle. Not even a candle, if you lit it, You light a candle and it instantly flickers the light to the room up. So no. So, the lies, there's lies. They might not started out as lies on purpose to manipulate people, but that's how it's ended up. And now, those who say they've got all the answers, and they're lying, are in charge, aren't they? And they've structured it in such a way, work dollar actually took over the planet, look, conquering and killing. It's taken over the planet, and now we have to pay to live on the planet. That's what I know. That is all I know. But I know the age of the universe is nothing like what they say. The way that things came about, the speed of light, all that stuff, rubbish. Light is absolute. And having this information now won't take a lot to prove it. People convinced, bang, listening and believing, and arguing it without understanding the science. Asteroid discovery is kind of what triggered this, right? This morning. So, we've got us. The universe is violent, we know that much. We can see shit streaking through the sky. There's holes, craters, floods. We've seen evidence, we've seen tsunamis, we know the big ones, right? Now there's a space rock where they reckon it weighs approximately 60 tons, right? Now, the Earth's atmosphere is so thin, right? It is so thin. Even just where the space station is, it's 400 kilometers. And we're talking so thin, right? Cold, thin, there's not much resistance. And the higher you go, you get into the vacuum and there's no resistance whatsoever, right? So this asteroid has been streaking across the sky for we don't know how long. Since the beginning, yes, and that also indicates there is some kind of something happened. But let's not go down to those small numbers because of the sun's light. It's all wrong. So this asteroid, a meteorite, whatever you want to call it, comes down. Alexa, how fast do asteroids and meteorites travel?
From jakeandjosh.com, the asteroid is travelling at an estimated speed of 16,900 miles per hour, around 27,000 kilometres per hour.
27,000 kilometres per hour, right? So 16,000, this is close to a minimum. Some of these things travel at 4 or 5 times this speed. It's got nothing to slow it down. It's just been punched out from wherever it came from, right? And it is being hurtling through the vacuum of the universe for God knows how long. And then it comes down and goes, it does not happen. Again, these arguments going back and forth. Yeah, but they say this, they say that. The only way that that space rock landed on this planet and ended up like it did is if it smashed into the water first. Right? And that thing is not small. Smash! Like a tsunami, all over the shop. Right? This way, everywhere. Depending on how much land, how much water's there. There's no way that that space rock plopped. That means that the water level has dropped. there had to be quite a lot of water, because if you throw a brick into just 10 inches or a foot, and there's glass at the bottom of it, bang, you're going to smash that glass, right? If you put everything into proportion, size, speed, weight, that thing, there must have been at least, you've got to use common sense to picture what kind of depth of water would slow that down. 50 metres? If it was 50 metres deep, the size of an Olympic swimming pool, that thing is travelling. The atmosphere is not going to do a thing. Not with this one, right? This thing is going to just go fish. So maybe, I don't know, 50 metres. Let's call it 50 metres. The size of a swimming pool. Deep. It comes in, smash. Still going to smash the bottom of the ocean. I mean, this is catastrophic, right? Maybe 70 metres, or either way, right? There had to be water to slow this thing down. Otherwise, there is a crater the size of the Grand Canyon. Not the size of the Grand Canyon, but there is a crater, right? A good sized crater. There is nothing. It's just sat on the surface, like just a couple of meters deep or something. Water is the only logical explanation for why that space rock didn't pulverize, disintegrate, and create a massive crater. Alright? That means, and the reason I'm bringing this up, obviously, is because one of the biggest lies ever told. The pyramids. Looking at that pyramid objectively, Giza, you will see a tide mark. If you look at that pyramid objectively, right, and you knew nothing about it, nobody ever instilled all this ridiculousness into your head, and you looked at that, you've gone, what's where? But it can't be. It can't be. But it is, right? And it's this denial of the facts, right? Limestone takes approximately 100 years, right, for 1/20th of a centimetre to dissolve. 1 centimetre of dissolved limestone takes 20,000 years, right? Just knowing that, whether it was ocean or not, just looking at those structures, they are not 4,600 years old. It defies common sense. I say it defies common sense. I'm not allowed to say that because if you don't look at things, if you can't train your mind to look at things objectively, right, you're always going to be manipulated to believe in things that aren't there. So we've got a monster rock, and we've got a tide mark. Everybody's denying it's a tide mark. The fact that it's round all 4 sides equally, right? And the fact that all of the other pyramids below it all have the same wear pattern, what's below the tide mark. They all have the same wear pattern. And the only pyramid right at the top stays smooth, and we say smooth, there's still stuff missing, is Giza. Right? Now, common sense, looking at this objectively. And yeah, but the scientists say that the Egyptians carved 6.5 million tons out of a limestone quarry with freaking nothing but copper hand tools. And they dragged, which is the equivalent weight of 65 Nimitz-class aircraft carriers. No, no, and no. Just know, these structures are ancient. These structures are ancient. Aliens, why would aliens, right, come down and be so good with rocks, right? If aliens built this, would there not be some signs? You can't believe any of the stuff that's carved and this, because you can't believe anything that anybody says, because just about everybody at the top wants to control everybody at the bottom. That's why you can't believe it. I don't believe it. All I know is gravity, sun, up, down, freaking ancient, because I've got common sense, right? And basically the rest is up for grabs, isn't it? I mean, everything is man-made. Everything is man-made. Other than gravity, the sun, up and down, and the moon, everything is man-made. The years tie in, obviously, because of the 365 days there are in a year, and I've been around enough to know that there are 4 seasons, and I've been in the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So I do know that up top when it's warm, down bottom she's cold. I get that. We get spring, autumn, summer, winter. I mean winter, spring, summer, autumn. Winter, spring, because 4 seasons. The elliptical orbit around the sun, we spin on our axis, all these things kind of tie in. So it's not that 365 days is the exact, because they have to throw a leap year in, and they have to throw a leap February in, don't they? Every 4 years. Instead of 28, it's 29 days, because something was slightly out. They need to add, so maybe it's like something like a second a day, or 2 seconds a day, and we have to bring it back, otherwise we go out of sequence with what humans thought was a good idea. For seconds, hours, really what they should do is add 1 second onto every day, or whatever it is that's missing. But that would mean restructuring everything. So we live with the mistake and get the leap year, right? 1 day every 4 years. That is the oldest, most ancient structures this civilization has to work with. And they're saying that they're 4,500 years old. They've given the age of the universe, right, where it all started, and their benchmark calculation is the speed of light traveling at 299,792 kilometers. Understanding that at that speed, it would take the sun 4.6 seconds to radiate the light, the distance of its diameter, 4.6 seconds for light to travel the diameter of the sun with their estimates means 1, 2, 3, 4.6. No, no, no. Impossible, because it doesn't matter what it is at that power. If you bring it all down, you do to one what you do to the other, it's still going to remain a fact. A sphere, they're telling you, will take 4.6 seconds to radiate light the distance of its diameter. And that is clearly, clearly wrong. Purely common sense. Because everyone can turn a bulb on. That is how it works. So, it's all up for grabs. Isn't it? We don't know. Well, they don't know. They're just saying they do. And they fooled everybody. But they don't fool all of us. There's so many questions. Right now, all I know is my kids are never going to be able to afford a house. The cost of living is plummeting, or should I say skyrocketing. And the only people not feeling it are the people that are giving us all these answers to these questions that are wrong. So, there's my little reflection on Sunday. Sunday mid-morning, going into the Arvo. Happy weekend, peeps.